Very good morning, students. This is Johnsy, Assistant Professor in Commerce, Bharathamatha College of Arts and Science. So, welcome to today's session. So, under FIUGP program, the third semester students, you are learning business regulation paper. It's a major paper for you. So, business law, you don't think that it's too hard, okay? It's such a very easy topics. And you have 4 modules in it, and in today's session we are discussing the first module. So the first module includes the major topics: business law, Indian Contract Act 1872, then contract, agreement, elements of agreement and contract, discharge of contract, breach of contract and remedies. So today we are discussing only the major topics coming under first module. Okay, fine. So let me enter into the introduction part. What is this business law means, right? What is the meaning? What do you mean by business law? The rules and regulations which governing the business is called as business law. Or we can say that the business law which regulates and governs the business transactions. It includes contracts, the bailment, agencies, then insurance, pledge, etc. As well as the business law is also called as mercantile law or commercial law. It's a part of civil law actually. Fine. So this is called as business law, and the next major part is Indian Contract Act 1872. So this is an act implemented in the year 1872. It deals with the major rules and regulations related with the contracts. Okay. And it consists of 2 major parts. Okay, it consists of major 2 parts. The first part is dealt with, section 1 to 72. Section 1 to 75 is dealt with, the general principles regarding the contract. And section, 124 to 238 is dealt with, the principles or the rules and regulations which are related with some special contracts. So you have some doubts, right? What and all the special contracts? There are 5 major special contracts are there. What and all that? Contract of, bailment, contract of pledge, contract of agency, then contract of indemnity and contract of guarantee. I'll repeat. Contract of indemnity, contract of guarantee, contract of bailment, contract of pledge and contract of agency. Like these are the 5 major special contracts, and those contracts are coming under section 124 to 238, and the general principles are coming under section 1 to 75. Clear? Yes, very good. Then under Indian Contract Act, you should know what do you mean by contract, because this act is dealt with the rules and regulation regarding the contract, right? So you should know what do you mean by contract and what do you mean by agreement and what and all the major elements of agreement and contract. Clear? Yes. What do you mean by contract? First, so as per David M. Walker definition, right? A contract may be defined as an agreement. So first thing is that you have to be very clear. Contract means is nothing but it's an agreement, right? It's an agreement between 2 parties. So if you want to create a contract means minimum 2 parties are needed. Okay. So it's an agreement between 2 parties. Then intended to create the legal obligation between them and to be legally enforceable. So contract means is an agreement between 2 parties with the intention of creating legal obligation, as well as it must be legally enforceable. Okay, it's called contract. Okay, fine. Now, what do you mean by agreement? Right? It's nothing but whatever the business transactions you are taking. Okay. At least two parties will be there, right? And there will be some promises, right? A party will give a promise and the opposite party will give the another promise, right? For example, I can explain this concept with an example. I am going to sell my 10 acres of land. Okay. So what is my promise? That is, I'm willing to sell my 10 acres of land. Okay. So a customer is ready for buying that. Okay. For that 10 acres of land, the opposite party is ready to give a particular amount. Right. He is willing to pay that particular amount. That is his own promise. So there is a promise as well as a set of promises is called as what? Agreement. Clear, guys? So agreement means nothing but a promise and set of promise, okay, is called as agreement. We can explain with another definition also. What is the definition? Offer plus acceptance equal to agreement. Okay, there is an equation for the agreement. What is that? Offer plus acceptance equal to agreement. So as I mentioned in the example, right? I am willing to sell my 10 acres of land. That is my offer. Opposite party is ready to accept that offer and willing to pay a particular amount. Right? So there is in this transaction you can find there is an offer as well as there is an acceptance. It is what called agreement. So to create an agreement, we need offer as well as acceptance. Same like this, there is an equation for contract also. What is that? Let me check. Contract equal to agreement plus enforceable by law. What is that? Contract equal to agreement plus enforceable by law equal to contract. So you can find that there is a close relationship between agreement and the contract, right? What is the relationship? Actually, this agreement will be turned into contract. Fine. The agreement will be turned into contract. Fine. So all the agreements are not contracts. At the same time, all the contracts are agreements. Fine. There is some logic is there, okay? You want to think. So all the agreements are not contract, but all the contracts are agreements. Fine. Okay. Let I repeat once again. What do you mean by agreement? Is nothing but the promises and set of promises is called agreement. And to create a valid agreement, there should be an offer as well as acceptance. Now, what do you mean by contract? Is nothing but agreement between two parties with the intention of creating legal obligation, and it must be enforceable by law. Fine. Then, what is the equation? Agreement plus enforceable by law equal to contract. Appo, agreement മാത്രം ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത് കോൺട്രാക്ട് ആവില്ല. Is it clear? Agreement മാത്രം ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത് കോൺട്രാക്ട് ആവില്ല. എന്താവണം? Agreement must be enforceable by law. Then only it will be turned into contract. So this keyword is very, very important. Okay? Enforceable by law. Fine. Okay. Now we are going to discuss about elements of agreement and contract. Okay. Now you are very clear that agreement is different, contract is different, right? Agreement is turned into contract. So if you are creating an agreement means, right, for creating an agreement, what and all the major elements are needed? Okay. You should have three major elements. Is it fine? So there are three major elements are needed to create the agreement. What and all? So as we discussed in the definition, no? Agreement definition. What is the, agreement definition we have discussed? Promise and set of promise, offer and acceptance. Right? And what do you mean by contract? Is nothing but agreement between two parties. right? So the first major element of agreement is, you need two parties. Okay, we cannot say two parties, at least two parties. Okay, the first element of agreement is at least two parties. So if you want to create a valid agreement, we need two parties. Okay, yes. What is the next element? Is nothing but identity of mind. I'll write here. Okay, identity of mind. Okay, what is this identity of mind? Is nothing but, you know um, if the two parties, they are exchanging some subject matter is nothing but, I told you, no, in the previous example, I am willing to sell my 10 acres of land. So what is the subject matter there? The 10 acres of land property is the subject matter. So, the subject matter of the agreement, okay, I'll repeat, the subject matter of the agreement must be, you know um, must be agreed by both the parties. I'll repeat, the subject matter of the agreement must be agreed by both the parties at the same time, in the same sense. Okay, it is called identity of mind. Okay, what is that? It the same sense and same time. For example, I have 5 cars, different brands of 5 cars. Okay, so now I am willing to sell my Maruti car. What is the brand? Maruti car. Okay, so there is a customer is there. Okay, willing to buy that car. So I have 5 cars actually. My plan is that I am going to sell my Maruti car. But the opposite party, the customer thought that he will receive or he will get, some other brand like BMW. Okay, because I have 5 brand now. So he thought that, okay, that owner is ready to sell BMW car. Okay, so what is the subject matter here? Car is the subject matter. Am I right? And the owner, that is, I am willing to sell my Maruti car, but the opposite party has thought that he will get the BMW car. Right? So here there is no identity of mind. Okay, so subject matter taken by the opposite party in a different way. So there is no identity of mind. So if you want to create a valid agreement means there should be an identity of mind. Okay, if I am selling Maruti car means opposite party also think that yes, he will get the Maruti car from me. Could you say clear? Yes. Now, then what is the third element? Okay, let me think. What is the third element? Promise and set of promise. Right. Promise and set of promise, that we already discussed, right? Promise and set of promise, that is, in the same example we can take, okay, I am willing to sell my Maruti car. Okay, so that is called promise, right? Okay, I'm willing to sell my Maruti car, so I'm giving a promise. Okay, the opposite party also, for that Maruti car, he is willing to a particular amount, right? That is the promise given from the opposite party, right? So from both people or from both persons side, there is a promise, right? So promises and set of promises is called as agreement, because we already discussed that in the agreement definition, promise and set of promise is called as agreement. So if you want to create a valid agreement, there should be a promise as well as set of promises. Clear? So you should have 3 major elements for creating the valid agreement. Okay, fine. Now, if you want to create the contract, right? Because under Indian Contract Act, the major topic is contract. You should know well, right, about the contract and the elements of contract. So for creating the valid contract, could you say you should have 10 major elements. For creating the agreement, only we need 3 elements. That is, at least 2 parties you need. Then there should be an identity of mind, and there is a promise and set of promise. Then we can say there will be an agreement. You can create the valid agreement. But if you want to create the contract means then there should be 10 elements. Okay, what and all that 10 elements? Let me check one by one. The first one is, as we know in the, as we discussed in the contract definition, right? What is the equation I have written? Contract equal to agreement plus enforceable by law. Agreement means, agreement between two parties. Agreement in the sense nothing but offer plus acceptance, right? So the first valid element is offer and acceptance. And the next element is intention to create legal relationship. And the third element is lawful consideration. And the fourth element is capacity of parties. And the fifth element is free consent. And what is the sixth element? Lawful object. Seventh one, agreement not expressly declared void. And eighth one, certainty of meaning. Next, ninth point, possibility of performance. And the final major element is legal formalities. So these are the major elements for creating a valid contract. So the explanation we can discuss in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.